Hello, it's Chaplin73 here, and I just wanted to record the second part of me answering questions that people sent me on my social media. I did a previous recording where I answered questions from some of the people who had sent them, and I just wanted to finish off the rest of the questions, really. So I will jump straight in. I covered quite a few last time, so I'll jump straight in with another question, and that was, you have to save one art piece you've created from a house fire. Which piece? I'm not sure, really. I have a very strong feeling about material possessions and the fact that, you know, if we had a house fire, the least of my worries would be my material possessions. Obviously, as long as my family and my pets were okay, I'd be happy. And if all my work burnt, I wouldn't be particularly worried like that. It would upset me slightly, no doubt, but you know, you can make work again. I guess the meaning behind this question was, what's kind of my favourite piece of work, and I think the piece I did for my A-level art, which is hung above my stairs, which would be a bit of a problem because I'd have to get a ladder to actually get it down because it's quite high up. But it's hung above my stairs, and it was called Playthings of a Generation, and it incorporates bits and pieces from my childhood, the Lego logo, Scale Strip logo, Star Wars characters, Lego bricks, Scrabble pieces, all things that I played with as a kid. And you know, actually the meaning behind the picture actually brings back and evokes memories for me of being a child again. So that's probably my favorite piece, and probably the one that I would want to save. But like I said, you know, at the end of the day, material possessions aren't really that important. And the important thing is making sure that I'm safe and the rest of my family are safe if there's a fire. So the next question was from Helen Stewart. Why green shirts on your art? That's a strange one. I think subconsciously I was influenced by politics in some way of my guy. And he's got a green shirt and a red tie, and the red tie obviously, you know, coming from the Labour movement here in the UK, and the green shirt coming from the Green Party, and my concern for all things to do with the environment and the natural world, and you know, the planet that we live on. Green is a colour that there are so many different shades of naturally in nature that we kind of take it for granted that something's green, but actually there are many different shades of green. And living in Cornwall, I do get to see that quite a lot as the seasons progress. All the different greens in the different trees and hedgerow plants and stuff. I'm always fascinated by how many different types of green there are in any given, you know, picture and scene that I see on my travels. So I think that I was heavily influenced by that as well, to some degree. So yeah, they've just got green shirts and red ties. It's just the way they've been. When I first started doing the Marx Brothers, they didn't have set colours. They had different colour shirts and different colour ties depending on, you know, what colours I had available to me. But for some reason, I've stuck with the green shirt and the red tie with the white stripes. So yeah, I don't know. It may have been a subconscious thing. It may have just been, you know, just I like the colour green. So what Kieran Wilson asks, what has been your most surreal experience as an artist and the most mundane? Most surreal, probably having a large dragon in my dining room for over 2 months in progress of being built. And that's probably surreal for the rest of my family as well. But yeah, that's probably the most surreal experience as an artist. The most mundane, there's quite a lot of mundane stuff in being an artist, to be honest. People think it's this some sort of like amazing life where you're constantly doing different things, but quite often you're repeating a process over and over and over and over again, and you're learning as well while you're doing it. And so sometimes that can become quite mundane, and I kind of lock myself in my shed, here in the shedio, and put some music on, and I may have, like I have recently, I've just been colouring shirts and ties in on lots and lots and lots of different pieces for a project that I'm doing. So it was quite repetitive, and yeah, some of the work as an artist can be quite repetitive. Some of the stuff that you're asked to do as commissions can be quite boring in a way, and mundane maybe, because you're doing something that doesn't really inspire you. I like to do art that is just spontaneous, and I just get on with it and do whatever I do. And if you've got quite a prescriptive commission, then obviously you've got to work to the guidance of the commission, and sometimes that can make art a bit mundane. But generally, I enjoy painting. I enjoy spending time here in the shedio, listening to my music, and getting on with painting and being creative. So yeah. Becky asks, what was the first piece you made that sold, and who bought it? Years ago, I was a baker, and I did a couple of bits of art. This was before I really started taking myself even slightly seriously as an artist. I did sort of like a caricature of of people dancing for a disco ticket when I worked at Safeway many years ago as a baker. We had a Christmas disco, and I designed the Christmas disco tickets, and they got photocopied. And somebody at Safeway saw that and said, "Could you do me a picture? I need a caricature." And it was a really bizarre ask, because she wanted particular things. There were memories of hers that she wanted sort of like put into a caricature, cartoon type drawing. And it was a guy, if I remember right, it was a guy nailing his shed roof whilst just wearing his boxer shorts and a top, because the roof had blown off and he'd gone out to nail it on or something. It was some memory that was personal to her. And somebody shooting moles in the garden with a shotgun, and a few other bits and pieces. And they were just like random memories that she had, that she wanted all put together in a cartoon that she could stick on her wall. Can't remember the lady's name, but yeah, that was the first piece that anybody ever gave me any money for. I think she paid me something like £10 to do it. It was just something, a bit of fun, really. And that was the first bit of art that I ever sold. So yeah. And then I didn't sell anything for many years after that. And then more recently I've sold a few pieces of Marx Brothers type art and other stuff as well. Linda asks, does the natural world inspire your work, e.g. wildlife, plant life, the human effects on climate change? I like to think it does. I think some of the quotes that I've used and some of the statements that I've used have been very much influenced by what I see going on in the world around me, and a lot of that is to do with the natural world. So yeah, it has been interesting. So yeah, I like to think that I am influenced by the natural world and the environment, and that sometimes that comes across in some of the work that I do. But yeah, actually drawing wildlife and plant life, I used to draw garden flowers, flowers from my garden all the time, quite precise pen and ink drawings with watercolors and stuff. But I haven't done that for years. So yeah, and animals, I really struggle to draw animals. I can draw a basic like cat face or dog face, but nothing like many of my friends who draw and paint animals for a living and do pet portraits and things. I would never ever attempt to do that for money, because I don't think I'd make a very good job of it. And Angela, I think this is the last question. Yeah, Angela Parks. And thanks for your question, Angela. What is your definition of success as an artist, and what is art? Really deep questions there. My definition of success as an artist, I think there are different types of success. I think if you can successfully create art on a regular basis, I think anybody who creates anything is an artist. And if you create it regularly, I think that's kind of a success in a way. Whether anybody likes it or whether anybody buys it is besides the point. That's not what we create art for as artists, I don't think. I think it's nice to have people like your art and people want to buy your art, and it's very flattering and very humbling at times. But I think success as an artist should be really defined by the fact that you're doing it, the fact that you're creating art, the fact that you're learning from previous bits of art, that your art's getting better than it was before. You should never compare your art with other people's art. You should compare it with what you've done previously, because I think if you start comparing your art with other people's art, there are some fantastic artists out there who you may end up comparing yourself with, and that could be quite depressing. So yeah, just look at what you do as your own personal output. That would be my advice to an artist, and just keep creating, keep producing work, keep getting it out there, and share it with the world. See what people think, but you don't have to. Art can be a private thing. You could create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures or paintings and never share them with anybody. Just keep them in your own journal or whatever, and you'd still be, in my eyes, a successful artist, because you'd be creating on a regular basis something that wasn't there before. And that's the thing about art. It's just about creating something that wasn't there before, whether it's good or bad. There is no good or bad, only thinking makes it so. I think within the words of Shakespeare, which is very true. Especially with art, it's very subjective. It's very much an opinion. I've had art teachers who thought something was good, and art teachers who thought the same piece was bad. And I just think that art is opinion, and just create what you want to create, put it out there in the world, and that would be my thoughts on success. It's very, very hard to define success, because success means something different to every person. And what is art? What a deep question, Angela. What is art? Pretty much everything, I think. Anything that was created or thought of or designed, or things are made twice. They're made once in the mind and once in the real world. And that's what art is, really. It's thinking something and then making it happen, making it be created. Whether that's a painting, a picture, a sculpture, a tool, that you design, a piece of furniture. It's all art. We are surrounded by art, and I think we kind of take that for granted. Everything we buy, everything we see, everything that's man-made has been thought of and created by somebody. Nothing really happens by accident. Okay, some art ends up the way it is by accident, but it wasn't created by accident completely. Somebody started out with the ambition of creating something, and whether it was what it ended up being, or whether it was just something different and it ended up being something completely different than what they originally thought that they were going to create, it is irrelevant. All art, anything that's been created by man is art. And I think art is also, high art is a lot of things. It's money, it's power, it's influence. It can be political. It can have political connotations. It can influence politics. Art throughout the years, throughout the centuries, has been used as a tool and a weapon. In so much as the people who were creating art had massive power and had money, and it was a symbolic of their wealth that they could create art. So yeah, that's my response to that. That's all the questions for now, and maybe I'll do a third video if people want me to answer any more questions. But that's all the questions for now. I've really enjoyed receiving your questions. Thank you for sending in questions.